in England at the time of John's conviction, a law existed which had been uniformly criticized throughout the world and which was later repealed. And it provided that the government did not have to prove that you knew the nature of the substance whatsoever. So that if you possessed a bottle and you thought it had aspirin in it, and in fact, if the aspirin turned out to be some serious drug, you must have pleaded guilty under those circumstances because there was no way out. And that actually was the legal situation that forced John into this, and that's where we stand with respect to the immigration.
Yeah. I know that this is not a excuse me.
Yeah, I was just going to say one interesting point was that when they started the initial case, they claimed that it was a local New York problem, and they also started the proceedings against John and Yoko. Well, halfway or a third of the way through the proceedings, or whatever the number is, they discovered that actually Yoko did not have any record in England, and also she had a green card by a previous American husband. So this local case that was just another case like any other alien, which is what they kept claiming, was not one of those cases. So then they suddenly had to find something else, which was this overstay business, which they pulled a fast one. And so they had to give Yoko the green card. And now, one of them, I think his name is Green, keeps writing to the papers saying they're still treating me like a normal citizen, a normal alien, right, only on overstay. They're no longer mentioning about marijuana and the original normal reason I was being thrown out. And it's just interesting that the case keeps changing to suit them, you know?
I know that this is not a satisfactory question, but maybe you have a satisfactory answer for it. You know, when all of us were little, we were told, why try to be someplace where they tell you that you're not wanted? You know, if you go over to a friend's house and his mother says, hey, I don't want you around, you come home. You could live almost anywhere you wanted to in this world.
Yeah.
And so if you're getting hassled this way, and this does not in any way negate the incorrectness of the hassle, if it is, as your attorney states, why put up with it?
Because I'd like to live in the land of the free, Tom. And also, if it was up to Joe Doe on the street, he either doesn't care about it or would be glad to have an old beetle living here, you know? You know, if I get in a cab with a cab driver, there's nothing to do with music or anything. He'll ask me, how you doing? I hope you can stay. So on your average citizen either doesn't care or wouldn't mind me staying here. I like to be here because this is where the music came from. This is what influenced my whole life and got me where I am today, as it were. And I love the place. I'd like to be here. I've got a lot of friends here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I want to be, you know. Statue of Liberty, welcome. I even brought my own cash.
Brooklyn Bridge, want to buy it?
No, you're the ones that buy our bridges.
There is another case which we haven't discussed, and that is our case against the government.
You've got one against them.
That's true.
Yeah.
We've gone to court on 3 separate occasions, but the action that I'm talking about is the selective prosecution action. We had some information that the deportation proceedings against John were not normally brought. Certainly the procedure followed was not normal. And we had learned that rumors got to the Senate Internal Security Committee that John had some idea, or was rumored to have some idea, of appearing at the Republican National Convention in 1972 and leading an anti-Vietnam War demonstration or the like. And that this information in the form of a memorandum was transmitted by Senator Strom Thurmond to the then Attorney General, John Mitchell, who may have at the time been sitting with the other hat as well as head of CREEP, the Committee to re-elect the President.
Yes, the former President.
And we understand that a series of memoranda led all the way down to the District Director in New York, and that the action he took was not as a result of John's immigration status, but rather as a result or an intention to prevent John from exercising constitutionally protected rights.
What are they afraid of you doing if you have permanent residence here?
I don't know. I think when it was started, somebody didn't want me here, and now they probably don't mind, you know. It's just that it's a bureaucratic thing. It's gone on, and how do we stop it? You know, maybe whoever makes the decision doesn't know whether it be either politically right or what's going to happen if we suddenly stop now when we started it? I mean, it's very sort of embarrassing for everyone, I guess. And I don't think that half the people that started it are now having their own problems, right? So I don't know where I am. I know there's a different lot of people in charge of my case now, and I'm sure they're not as hot to get me out because they didn't even have the Republican convention in San Diego, and I was not committed to go there either. So
I have less than 1 minute left. You know, you've been a very low-key and very mild-mannered guest on this program, and yet I've heard you described as being an egomaniac, and I'm having a little trouble understanding that description of you vis-a-vis the way that you've really been during this hour we spent together. Why would you be called that?
Because one gets a reputation, you know, for one thing or other, whether it's true or false. If being an egomaniac means I believe in what I do and my art or my music. In that respect, you can call me that, you know, and I believe in what I do. And I'll say it, you know. And otherwise, this is pretty much me, you know, apart from being on TV, you know.
Well, you're one of the nicest egomaniacs I've ever met.
Well, so are you, Tom.